beautiful. I'm in the city center today, enjoying myself. I have been sick for a while. I have some digestive issues and they're not gone still. But we're doing our best to take care of ourselves and still enjoy life. I had to go to the hardware store to get some light bulbs, and now I was just sitting in a park eating a sandwich and painting a little bit with my brush pen. And now I'm on my way to kind of antique or used bookstore. And then later I want to go to a fabric market that is happening today. The bookstore is already closed, but luckily I already have 3 new books now, so I can't complain about that. To be honest, I didn't buy anything. It is many days later, and I wanted to update you on the books that I found. I actually finished the first one already, which is quite small. It has around 100, but more than 100 pages, 120. And it's written by Joan Didion. It's actually a collection of essays. In German, it's called Wo die Küsse niemals enden, which is where kisses never end in English, which sounds very cheesy, and I was a little bit skeptical of that. And the title is actually borrowed from one of the essays, and that essay is about Joan Baez, which I like. And yeah, you can really see that Joan Didion was a journalist before she became a writer. The first one is about a kind of crime, and the second one about an actor. Then there's drum bass, and it's all centered around like U.S. American culture. The time that she writes about is mostly like 60s and 70s, I think. Even I think there is the date or the year at the end of each essay. So after the first one, it says 1966, for example. And yeah, I guess it's not fiction. I guess this is real. It's about real events, more or less. And I liked it. It was a fun read, and I want to check out other like novels or essays from Joan Didion. And the second one I am reading right now. I'm using this cute little bookmark that my boyfriend gave me. It's inspired by a painting, Van Gogh's sunflower painting. And I have read around half, exactly half actually. It has 300 pages and I'm on page 150. And this is called Pariser Geschichten, which is Paris stories in German and in English. And there are stories by Marcel Proust, Anais Nin, Henry Miller, Colette, Ernest Hemingway, François Sagan, and more. And it's a mix of various things. I find it hard to like put a label on it, other than everything is centered around Paris. I actually skipped the first like story. I don't even know if you can call it a story. I don't think so. I know it was the second. Yeah, it was the second I skipped. The first one was very short, just 2 pages. But the second one was by Honoré de Balzac, and it's called The Boulevards of Paris. And it was just like naming boulevards, basically, and they don't mean anything to me. I think if you don't live in Paris, it's not very interesting. Then there were some about like women living in Paris. It was interesting, like their like way of living and stuff. I don't know exactly when these stories were written, but to me it feels like some maybe even from the 19th century or early 20th century maybe. The last one that I wrote was by Émile Zola. It's called Mrs. Naigeon. I don't know how to pronounce that. And it was about a young man who kind of falls in love with a woman who's married, and she's married to somebody working for the government. And she basically tells this young man that if he helps her husband to get a certain position, because the young man has a kind of influential father, then he will get a reward. And the young man thinks, because he's heard that this woman is quite promiscuous, that the reward will be that he becomes her lover. And it's like it's building up to that reward. But then finally, when he goes to collect the reward, she tells him like, no, sorry, I have given you the wrong impression. And his reward is just that he also gets a kind of promotion or a position through her husband. And it's all very innocent, like describing how beautiful the flowers are and like how beautiful she is, and the atmosphere in the nature, the countryside where they meet and stuff. It's not very exciting most of the time, but it's a really good book to read before bed, because sometimes when books are too interesting, I tend to keep reading and I don't fall asleep. And that's not good, so I quite like it for that. And then the last book is called Jinping Me. And it says it's a kind of moral novel from the Ming period. And I'm honestly not sure like how this is going to be, if it's interesting or very like tedious and boring. It's quite long, has like 750 pages. But I'm interested in it because I like novels by Pearl S. Buck, and they're based in China mostly. She was a Chinese US American author, and she wrote a lot about life in China, especially like the countryside, rural China. And yeah, I just find it fascinating to get a glimpse into that culture, that world. Obviously in like former times, not modern day China. And I just find it interesting, and I thought maybe it's a little bit like that. But yeah, apart from the Paris stories that I'm reading at night, I'm also reading Near to the Wild Heart by Clarice Lispector on my laptop right now during the day. I'm reading a lot of books on archive.org, and I find it really incredible that you can just make a free account and read any book that not any book, they have some that are kind of blocked, that are only for people who donate, I think, which I'm considering because it's just a wealth of resources on there. And yeah, you can read so many books, and it's amazing. And yeah, I have been wanting to read something by Clarice Lispector, and this was the first one that I picked. I might read more in the future. I will keep you updated on how I like it. But yeah, I also wanted to touch briefly on like, my relationship to reading right now. I started last year to read more. I think last year I read around 5 or 6 books. And especially in the beginning of the year, my reading was quite strong. And this year I really got into it more, especially after my boyfriend left Germany. I have read 8 books this year so far, which is incredible. I think it's like a book every 2 weeks almost. And I feel like it has kind of saved me in a way, especially from using social media a lot. I have never been someone who like scrolled a lot. I had TikTok once for a very short time and immediately deleted it because I felt like this isn't good for me. But I do have Instagram, and I'm there most days, and I try to limit my time. I have like an app time control put in, which I usually extend a few minutes and then another few minutes. But I think it's within limits, you know. And the other social media platform I'm on a lot is the one that you're watching right now. And I have just tried to read more instead of watching only videos. I think it's okay to watch videos, but I just want to do it more intentionally, and I don't want it to be like a reflex to go to YouTube or on my phone every free minute that I have. You know, I want to spend my time wisely and with things that nourish my mind and don't give me anxiety. And I have found that my anxiety has gotten a lot better. And I'm not sure if that's because of being like less on social media or just doing other things. I think focusing on something else instead of focusing on not being on social media is more helpful. But yeah, I just wanted to say that, and I hope you liked this very short but sweet video, and I hope to see you soon.